Good morning, New Life. My name is Stacy MacLaren, and it is my privilege to serve as an adult ministry associate here at New Life. Welcome to week 4 of our Advent video series. Hey, have you ever thought that to experience the presence of God, you have to experience some grand, big, sparkly moment in order to know that that is the presence of God right there with you? I think that we all have those moments where we think, God shows up in big, grand, glorious ways. And He does, but I think more often than not, He shows up in the still, small, little ways. And those in and of themselves are big moments. So I want to share a little bit from our lives. If you listened to my earlier devotion in week 1, I talked about the journey our son went through with cancer. And in his final days, about a year and a half after that moment, we were in hospice and we had lots of moments there with family and with friends. And there was these sweet gifts of moments where his friends would come in. They would come in usually in the evening, sometimes in the morning, mostly in the evening. They would come in, about 6 of his closest friends, and they would laugh and they would hug. And so normally what would happen is I would be there and I would hug all of them. I would cry a little bit with each of them, and then I'd kind of step back and I would watch them interact and tell silly boy jokes. Even though they were all grown men, they would still tell silly boy jokes. And then usually I would just retreat and watch them from afar. And what I started noticing was that the presence of God was in those silly conversations. It was in the long pauses that they shared as they each really were reflecting on what was happening. It was in the midst of their tears. It was in the midst of silly video games that they were playing, the connections that they were having with each other. God was right there. His presence was filling the room in those moments. One night in particular, I had fallen asleep in one of the chairs that was there. And I woke up in the middle of the night and looked across, and his best friend had fallen asleep in another